Hey everybody, it's Laura. I'm here to share with you a little bit more about what it's like to become my coaching client. So bear with me. I don't know how long this video is going to end up being because there's a lot to share. And if you're the kind of person who feels somewhat magnetized to coming to work with me, it's probably for a reason. And I'm excited to share more with you and see if maybe we'd be a good match. So the first thing that I want you to know is that I am a huge nerd for coaching. Here on this channel, I do a lot more creativity focused stuff because that's where my passion and my soul are really alive. And I do a lot of creativity related coaching. But what I want you all to know is that there's a lot of different ways that I can work with people when they become my coaching client. And I'm going to share a bit about that with you today, and where you might start to orient if you're curious about becoming my client. So the first thing you all should know is that coaching is not the same as therapy. They can get kind of lumped together. They can work very nicely together. I think it's rare that I coach someone who doesn't also empower support from a therapist from time to time. It's kind of like in therapy, you're getting together to connect about the past, connect on closing emotional loops that are open. And when you're in coaching, the focus of the conversation is future oriented. And the focus of my listening of you when we're coaching, like when we're in session together, I'm listening to what you're saying through the lens of who it is you have shared with me that you want to become. If that even makes sense. That's part of the magic of the coaching container. Is my job as a coach is to listen for who are you intending to become, this person who's fulfilling on certain visions and dreams that they have in their life, and what's the gap between how you're currently relating to yourself and this place that you're getting to. So what we work together to do in the kind of coaching that I do is close gaps in different ways, and that's one of the ways that we close gaps. On a very basic level, sometimes a great question to ask yourself is, if you're thinking about, am I ready to talk to a coach or work with me? Some good questions to ask are, number one, am I ready to be in closer connection with my future? Because that's what coaching is really about, is the movement toward the future and starting to really orient yourself to the future you intend, lining up yourself with that future, being very intentional about it. Second question to ask would be, would I like to talk to Laura about it on a regular basis? Okay, fundamentally, that's what we're talking about with becoming a coaching client of mine. I think that my clients overall, they do a lot of different things, but the things that they have in common, it's kind of like this Venn diagram. Like one circle is some kind of leadership conversation, whether they own their own business. I work with some coaches who are self-employed. I work with a number of people who are small business owners. I have some really cool corporate girly clients as well, having these big leadership visions and goals and desires. But that second circle of the Venn diagram is about creativity, artistry, or an experience of soul in some way that's deeply meaningful. And so most of my clients, they kind of appear in that overlap between those two things. So you can see how it's sort of hard to bottom line it because they can do so many different things. I did want to share with you all a couple of recent client testimonials that I got because I think they give a really good snapshot of what the process is like and frankly, the diversity of things that I work with people on. Okay, so this is from a client I worked with for about 3 years, and I just love her so much. Okay, she says, when I first started working with Laura, I felt very stuck in my business. Not like I didn't know where to go, but more like trapped. My business owned me. I get it. I was burnt out. Over time, Laura patiently introduced tools and poked and prodded in the right areas to discover what I really wanted and needed from my business. She helped me recognize that I was running my business not as myself, but as a version of what I thought a business owner was supposed to be. This is making me really emotional because I just remember all these different phases of her discovery. It's really cool. She pulled at the right strings and enabled me to unpack parts of myself I could bring into the business in new ways. It was like flipping a switch. Things I had seen as hindrances became assets. I can't thank Laura enough for shining a light on a path forward that felt natural and intuitive, for helping me bring my creativity to my business leadership, and for helping me turn my business into something that served me instead of a cage I was trapped in. Laura is brilliant in her gentle nurturing, guiding me at a pace I was comfortable at going. To say that my time with Laura was life-changing isn't an exaggeration. I can't thank her enough. Thank you, Chrissy. Yeah, that's really special. Here's another one. Okay, this is a different type of client. Okay, Laura was recommended to me by a former boss who noticed how I would intentionally diminish myself. She introduced me to Laura, and we had 1 or 2 initial Zooms to get to know each other and commit to working together. I've been impressed by Laura's method, which is unexpected, whimsical, buoyant, and almost sneakily, surprisingly effective. Laura keeps reminding me and nudging me to think outside the box and to catch my inner negative naysayer voice. She helps me frame my dreams into projects with really, really small, accessible steps that can lead me there. We also talk about seasonality. Not every season has to be focused project mode. It's more about self-love and intuition. I've come to our sessions with something heavy on my mind, and we end up talking about it for the hour. Our sessions are fluid, not a rigid agenda, which is exactly what I need. I was intimidated by her group office hours at first. I'll tell you guys more about that in a minute. But now I find them really nourishing. Some of the lessons my cohort shared resonate deeply and guide me strongly. Laura's sweet spot is professionals in creative fields, and while I don't share her Disney-level fantasy prowess, I've experienced the magic of that lens. Like the meeting with Dumbledore reflection. I'll tell you all about that too. It was beautiful, effective, and reminded me that we don't show up for ourselves kindly or completely enough. So this was a client who is, I would put more in the organizational leadership coaching bucket, even though she is also an artist and actually in a creative field. But a lot of what we work on is sort of the bringing together of her visions for her career and her leadership impact that she'd like to have, and the kind of natural, like the growth of her natural and authentic rhythms, ways of communicating, really becoming a lot more confident in her ability to own herself. And I love her so much. She's so cool. So 2 things. Number 1, this client referenced my office hours, which is a perk for my clients who are engaged in ongoing work with me. It's a open hour that I host every month that all my clients are invited to. There's no agenda. Sometimes people come with a request for coaching. Sometimes we do show and tell of like, here's what I'm working on, or here's what I'm thinking about. Sometimes we do oracle card readings. Sometimes it's just to get to know you. I never really know, but the conversation, you can imagine that the quality of conversation that happens in a room like that, where it's people who are like literally curated. Like these are all people who are receiving coaching from me, similar to how you might be. There's like a certain sincerity in the space that is, I think, very special. In fact, recently we were in one office hours, we're having a really just open, vulnerable conversation about well-being and activism, and, you know, how to just take care of ourselves and stay active in our communities. And it was so cool. My clients are so brilliant, and I never know what they're going to bring. You know, this is one of the other things about coaching that's so exciting, is that when you start working with a coach, there's some foundation setting to do. And then what we really do is look ahead and create what I call a project, where we look at certain areas of life and start to really clarify and hone in on a future vision. We create milestones. And then once that's in place, the coaching sessions are really about moving you toward the next upcoming milestone. And so what you bring to a coaching call is what we call a coaching request. And that's basically where you just you kind of bring, hey, what's the thing I need coaching on? Either I'm running into this roadblock, or here's something really great and I'm processing it weirdly, or here's the thing I'm curious about. From time to time, my clients don't actually come with a coaching request. They're kind of like overloaded by life. And so they're like, okay, let's spend the first like 10 minutes just sort of looking at everything, and then we'll work together. Part of my job as a coach is to help you kind of sift through all the things going on and work a little bit like a kind of like a mental sieve to sort of filter out, okay, what's the stuff that's the noise that I don't actually need to pay attention to versus like what's the most important, like bang for our buck thing to really get to dive into together. So, you know, I'm an improviser by nature. It's cool with me if you don't know what we're going to talk about, as long as you're going to buddy up with me and find something. We always do. So the other thing from this testimonial I wanted to share with all of you, I am admittedly a Disney adult. Sometimes, just given the state of capitalism that we're in, it's hard to be one. But the spirit of it is an important part of my life, of my coaching philosophy, which is that dreams come true. Like, that's actually a place that I listen to people from, is this stand that our dreams actually can come true. And that is a like very deeply meaningful soul conversation for me because, you know, let me know in the comments if you want another video on this. I don't really have time to talk about it, but I did lose my singing and speaking voice when I was in my late teens, and I didn't sing for a really long time. It was like it really felt like the death of a dream. And in case, I don't know if you all know these things about me. I don't know how much you're following me on other social media platforms, but life is very different than that now. And I'm singing confidently, and I'm playing in a band, and I'm well, you know, even with autoimmune. And so for me, like, I think because I've had to fight and heal and choose so much to really get this dream to come true, I just believe that people can make their dreams come true. And the more that we can connect with what those dreams are and connect with our heart's desire on a regular basis, it becomes sort of an inevitable thing. So that's kind of the deeper thing underneath my Disney adultishness. And the reason why my client was talking about this is because my podcast, West of Wonderland, which I host with the amazing Bea LeBlanc-Quiney, is, we call it your personal development theme park, because we talk about coaching and ontology and leadership and all of the nerdy coaching things. But we have a really good time doing it. And we happen to freaking love theme parks and all of the, you know, Disney magic that comes with it. And so we often will host these personal development workshops and retreats and stuff like that have sort of a fantastical, whimsical, charming theme to them, just to sort of romance the parts of us that are scared to change, and frankly, just to have more fun, because personal development and reflection can feel very challenging. So we're just of the mind that it should and can and should be fun and engaging. So at West of Wonderland, we have this New Year's workshop that's free online for anybody to come to. And historically, it's been a some kind of New Year's reflection workshop themed to something Harry Potter related. And what I want to say about that is that we are really aware that it's like, it's tough to have grown up as a Harry Potter fan, given all of the terrible things that the author of Harry Potter is, for some reason, like inexplicably committed to doing in the world. And so we're trying to figure our way through, like, not supporting that, and also at the same time staying true to the spirit of not only the New Year's workshop, but the ways in which we are inspired by those stories and those characters. Anyway, that's a bit of a brief aside, but meeting with Dumbledore was last year's New Year's workshop, and we created it like you're getting together with this very wise mentor to have a very intimate conversation about changes coming up in your life. So it's the entry point are these fantastical characters, but it's really accessible to anybody. Okay, that was a really long way to explain that. Okay, now I would like to read you this other testimonial. This is from someone who is an artist and a self-employed coach. My experience of coaching with Laura Westman has been nothing short of transformative. When I first started working with Laura, I was going through a major transition in my life. I had just taken the bold leap of becoming self-employed for the first time and starting my own coaching business, moving to a different country, and working through challenges from my past. I was struggling with anxiety about the process. I knew it was the right thing to do, but it was a scary leap. Having had the pleasure of working with Laura previously as my coach trainer, I had an instinct that she was exactly the person I wanted to work with one-on-one. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you all that. In terms of me being nerdy about coaching, I did work as a coach trainer for many years. Feather and cap. Okay. Okay, since then, my life looks completely different. And I've never been happier or more satisfied with my personal, professional, and creative life. Wow. In my time coaching with Laura, her support helped me create over $100,000 in income from my brand new coaching business 2 years in a row. She really helped me lean into the strengths I already had and develop myself from a place of lightness and compassion. Not only that, but I acquired my Italian citizenship and fell in love with the woman of my dreams. Just brief aside. I don't advertise myself as a relationship coach, but I love to do it. Okay, there are so many things that distinguish Laura as a coach. She is extraordinarily kind. She is wise, insightful, and knows exactly how to ask the questions that let me shine and find my own brilliance in answers. That's important for you all to know, that a lot of coaching is coach asking questions to evoke the wisdom and imagination of the client. There's a healthy amount in working with me. There's a healthy amount of me speaking to that part of you. Anyway, that's part of the methodology of coaching. Okay. She brings joy and creativity to every goal and challenge. Laura created a container that let me go through my own hero's journey, bringing love to my own struggles and challenges, and ultimately learning to perform at a high level while having so much more fun in the process. That's the leadership conversation. Okay. I'm taking away from my experience coaching with Laura an incredible amount of self-trust. Yeah. That's everything. Sorry. I trust my instincts at a deeper level. I'm also a braver human being than I was before. Yeah. I have the courage to take on bigger challenges. I'm also much more deeply in touch with my creativity. I'm no longer holding my musical aspirations at odds with my professional ones. Laura has helped me create a life where music, work, and love dance together to create a truly extraordinary life. I just was so moved reading that sentence that I made up a word. Did you all catch that? He said to create an extraordinary life, and I definitely said something else. Okay. I would highly recommend Laura as a coach to any leader that is looking to play a bigger game while nurturing their creative soul. Her being is a unique gift, and you'll be glad to have Laura on your team. Thanks. Wow, I don't know why I didn't bring Kleenex over here for this. That would have been really smart. Anyway, wow, that's like amazing for me to read out loud. It's one thing to have them listed on your website. It's another to actually read them. That was really special for me. And I'm also feeling so honored and privileged to be the person having the front row seat to what these people are doing and building. And this is just 3 of hundreds of people that I've worked with over the course of my career. So everyone's journey is different, but it's part of why the close partnership is so important. It's part of why, if you're interested in potentially becoming my client, the best thing you can do is reach out to me for a chat, because we'll have a lot of questions for each other to even figure out, is this the right time for you to take this on? What kind of support are you needing in coaching? Coaching can provide a lot of different types of support. But fundamentally, I think it's really about, would you like me to be the person championing you to be able to create your version of what my last client was just saying? That, for him, it's this life where, professional success and artist life and love all dance together in a way that's really empowered and delightful. And then there's also this wonderful question about do you also want me to be there helping you figure out how to live in that life once you get there? Because so much of how we talk about goal achievement in sort of our wider culture and zeitgeist is really about the objective. It's about getting there. And sometimes that's important, obviously, because we wouldn't move forward if we weren't thinking that way. But ontological coaching in particular pays special attention to the kind of work we have to do once we've achieved it to really let the success stay, and also learning how to let go of the parts of us that don't think that we should be allowed to have that level of success or what have you. We call that integration work. And that to me is just as exciting as the getting there, because I get to hold people while they look around at all of the amazing things that they've built and have to figure out how to accept it and how to see themselves as people who are worthy of having their lives really work out like that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So all that is to say, if you're feeling if you're feeling interested in working with me, go ahead and reach out. It's not weird if you're curious but unsure about timing. Maybe you and I know each other from something way far back, like middle school or something. And you're like, is it weird if I reach out? The answer is definitely not. I'll be so happy to hear from you and so happy to connect. And I think for me, the greatest privilege of this job is being the kind of person, hopefully, who people feel very safe with to share the real dream. Sometimes we lead with one dream because we find it palatable, but often there's another one right behind. I like all of them. I want to talk about all of them. And if you end up joining my coaching practice, you will be among people who are interested in becoming the partners of their dreams and really letting them live. So that being said, that's a lot about working one-to-one together. I also offer lots of different types of coaching and consulting services for leadership development, leadership consulting. Through West of Wonderland, Bay and I host team building retreats. We create customized team programming. I like to think about it like professional development that doesn't suck. And we just have a really good time. We've got really great reviews from teams that we've worked with before, mostly saying how surprised and delighted they were that they were showing up for professional development work and couldn't wait to get there and felt very engaged and felt like they were both personally and professionally benefiting from everything that we brought to the table. So that's, one of the really great things that she and I get to do together. And trying to think if there's anything else you all need to know. Let's see. Yeah, I think the thing I just want to leave you all with is, it is our dreams in our lives, the dreams we have for ourselves, are our birthright. And we have choices about how we approach them. It's up to us to decide that we can move in the direction of those dreams coming true or not. And the philosophy of my coaching practice is that we get to choose and we get to create the lives that we truly want to live, that are deeply, deeply fulfilling. It feels nice to say out loud. It's funny talking about that because, especially after having worked as a coach trainer for so long and as someone who is 3 times credentialed in coaching, coaching in its very pure form doesn't have a philosophy. Well, I guess we could say that it is about partnering with the client and co-creation, where we're creating together, discovery on the part of the client, being really committed to the client's transformation. These are really important things that are universal in the world of coaching. And what I have also found to be true is that it's really powerful as a coach to actually choose a philosophy that you build those things on top of, to really create the ethos of your practice, to have a mission, like a reason why you stand for people to be able to transform their lives. And for me, Dreams Come True is that philosophy. So it's a little funny. I mean, I think a lot of coaches struggle with marketing for this reason, because so much of the actual work of coaching is about you, the client, and not about me or my philosophy at all. But in case you need it, my philosophy creates the container through which all of your transformation gets to occur. So it's pretty exciting. All right, I've talked for too long. Go ahead and get in touch if you're interested in chatting together about becoming my client, or even hiring us to do some work for your team at work. Or if you just really enjoyed this video and thought it was cool and want to chat about it, I'd love to hear about it. And let me know in the comments what other questions you might have about coaching, or if you're interested in a longer video about my kind of reclaiming of my voice and my music dreams, let me know. Oh, one other thing people often have questions about is how much does coaching cost? So it really depends. I've worked hard to create a bunch of different types of packages at different price points, and to create pricing that accounts for lots of different kinds of economic difference. So it really depends. The best place to start is just to reach out. Yeah. All right. Thanks. See you later.